TYT Sports, everybody, Francis Maxwell, Pablo Alsina, Jason Rubin. It's time for another top 10, and one that is surely Francis is going to ruffle some feathers.
Absolutely.
Never said it before. Now I know why you say it, though.
Yeah.
My list starts and ends with Mario Balotelli. Joking, of course. But I will be throwing to the two men who have been watching world football a lot longer than I have to break down who are the 10 greatest players to ever put on a pair of football boots. Francis?
Yeah. Jason, how long did I spend manufacturing my list this morning? Up and down, moving things around?
I got in at like 8. You were here at the crack of dawn, and I believe you finished 2 minutes before we started the clip.
How often did Zinidine Zidane move on your list?
So much.
I want him 9th. No, I want him 8th. No, I want him 5th. I know you. He's the biggest Zizou fan around.
I'm a big Zizou fan, and I moved him around. But so before we go into this, right, I was reading articles about it, and this is the bottom line when it comes to differentiating between all-time football and legends. It's very hard if you haven't seen them week in, week out. A lot of my list might be contemporary because I watched football. I remember it more so from the last 15 years than I did before. 2, it's kind of impossible to compare players such as like fantastic goalkeepers in their prime to players that have been so transcendent with goals and accolades, because goalkeepers are...
And also position-based. How many defenders do you have on the list?
I made a point. I was a defender, so I made a point of putting 2 on there. The 2 that I think have been revolutionary in the game, and I will get to that. So that is what I think, and it's my opinion, of course, and I want you guys to comment and let me know what you guys think throughout. Of course, there's going to be feathers ruffled and lights going off because I'm ready to start.
Because it's a tango. It's a tango.
This is a list.
Todo a media luz.
All right.
Speakers will get that.
Okay.
Let's throw up the list. There you have it. There is my top 10, and I'm going to start from 10 and work my way down. And I will give you guys time if you disagree throughout when I get to the players to talk me through it. But as mentioned, this is my list to start with. So Ronaldinho, many people may have thought about maybe Ronaldo going in there. Like, is it the original Ronaldo was one of the players that people will expect to have been transcendent in the game. But the thing with Ronaldinho was Champions League winner, we know, Ballon d'Or winner, World Cup winner. I think Ronaldinho is my top 10.
For a stretch of 4 years, you could argue he was even better than Messi's ever been.
Yeah, that's...
But the problem with me and Ronaldinho being on this list is he was only great for 2, 3, 4 year stretch. Then the rest was like, hey, I just want to party, I want to have a good time, I want to bounce around. You can't be as great as you were and in your early 30s already playing back in Brazil, playing in Mexico now. No. I mean, that's the only reason why I would hold it a little bit against
And that's the same with guys like Ronaldo as well. People expected him to play a little bit longer. So this is my reasoning why Ronaldinho makes it, is because I think he was one of the first ever footballers to combine outrageous amounts of flair and technical ability with actual parts of his game that it would assist his game in a way. Because you see guys that had flair. I've seen players that have had enormous amounts of talent, like Nani, who is not a bad player, but his step-overs are there and he does things that are amazing with the ball, but it never really assisted him as much in the game as it maybe hindered them. Ronaldinho could do some incredible things with the ball, and it would always assist him. He would be on Showboat, which was a show in the UK every week, but it would get him further in the game. And of course, there's a certain people in this world that other opposition fans will applaud. Do you remember the Real Madrid game where he basically single-handedly destroyed them? All the Real Madrid fans, even players, applauded him off the field, and I think that he transcended the game in combining stuff that's so easy on the eye but was just so effective in his prime. So next, you asked about defenders. Paolo Maldini, I think, is the best Italian and AC Milan defender to have ever lived. 5 Champions Leagues, countless Serie A titles. Unfortunately, no World Cup for Maldini. He wasn't there in that unbelievable Italian team.
No Fabio Cannavaro?
No, Cannavaro maybe, but just I don't think he didn't win as many accolades as Maldini. And Maldini was the sole figure.
Golden ball.
Yeah, it was. But Maldini was a sole figure when AC Milan were through that dominant era, when they won, I think it was 4 or 5 Serie A titles back to back.
I like Maldini.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't
like Beckenbauer also. No
Beckenbauer's going to be in there, so he's one that I'm getting to. So Johan Cruyff. I was toying between Cruyff and George Best, because George Best is one of my favourite ever players. I haven't actually seen one week in, week out, of course, way before my time, but he was a player that kind of revolutionised the British game and said that we can do the same things you can do with the ball. We can dribble, we can keep it tight to us, we can do what the likes of Pele could do as well, because he, for Manchester United, was unbelievable in that era, and people looked at him as one of the best players in his prime. But Johan Cruyff is the best Dutch player to have ever lived. And he, along with the European titles that he won with Ajax and the way that he transitioned the game in Holland, I think that he's got to be on a list. You know, I mean, you've got to think of players that were the best ever for their country. Getting to the point that you mentioned, Kaiser. The guy who, we talked about revolutionising a position. No one in the back line ever used to move by the halfway line until Beckenbauer. He was an attacking defender. He was phenomenal. He won World Cups. He made Bayern Munich the dynasty that they were in that era, and they won so many Champions Leagues along with it. But there's football boots named after the guy because he was just, he used to move. When I played centre back, people would be like, who do you want to play? I'd be like, Beckenbauer. I'd never seen him before in real life, in games, but then I'd watched all of the clips about him, and he used to just wander from the back, take on players, and wander up the field and be an attacking sweeper.
Do you know who Cafu is?
Cafu, the right back.
I mean, he was amazing.
Brazil.
He's the best offensive-minded backline defender.
He started the fullback attacking forward. That's why Dani Alves is around. That's why Marcelo, these guys that play, they maybe attack too much. He had the ability to go back and forth.
Carlos,
and there's so many players. That's what I'm saying. We know it's so hard.
Yeah.
There's so many good players, but I had to just narrow it down. And you just mentioned it. Zizou had to make my list because Zidane, some people may think that I've got him a little too highly ranked. He was a World Cup winner in 1998. And during that 1998
could have been two-time World Cup winner.
Could have been if he never had his moment, yeah. And he still managed to be the oldest player in that tournament to win, what was it, the Golden Ball that year. He was still considered the best player even after headbutting someone. But
and anybody with a shaved head, I got your back, Zizou. Now, he's an amazing player. I'm fine with where you put him on the list.
Fine with where I put him?
I put lots of weight on winning World Cups.
Yeah, so
Are you hearing me, Messi?
And that's how we get to the final point. But Zidane, the 1998 World Cup is one of the ones that lives long in my memory. I think it's one of the ones that I remember most because that was when I was really falling in love with the game. How good was Ronaldo in that tournament, right? How good was he? Apart from the final where I think he swallowed his tongue and he wasn't fully fit.
His stomach
was a little off. But you look at how good Ronaldo was and who was the best player in that tournament? It was Zidane. Yeah. And he was Man of the Match award. He was the reason why they won that World Cup.
He was also the playmaker. Ronaldo's a 9.
Yeah.
It's
I think that's, and even though I hated the way he ended his career, he was still just, that goal in the Champions League final is the best goal ever scored in a Champions League final in Hampden. I've mentioned it, I think, in about 25 TYT Sports clips. So put him in there. So this one, bear with me because the fanboys are going to go so crazy at this. Cristiano Ronaldo, number 5 on my list at the moment. You never know what's going to happen in the future, but at the moment he ranks 2nd in Real Madrid's all-time top goal scorer. He will be first. He only has to get, I think, 20-plus goals next season to overcome Raul, who is another honourable mention. Raul, believe me. But
for top 10? No.
He's an all-time scorer for Real Madrid.
Top 10 all-time greatest soccer players? No.
He's not honourable, and he wouldn't make my top 10, but he's honourable. I think he's got to be up there. Ronaldo. What's your thoughts on Ronaldo anyway?
Huh?
What's your thoughts on Ronaldo make my top 5?
Oh, he's got to put him on there. I know we're being more present based, but his skill set, what he can do with the ball, the goals he scored, his talents, I'll put him 5th.
I think 5th is.
And you can't expect much from him in World Cups. He plays for Portugal, so he has that excuse going for him.
The highest, the reason I was toying between the most transition on my list came from Di Stefano, Ronaldo, and Zidane because I hadn't seen Di Stefano. He's way before my time, and he is. But a guy that's that long in the history that still manages to be the 3rd top goal scorer for Real Madrid and still have all the 5 European Cup winners trophy, which of course was the Champions League. Now that we call it, is best striker of his generation and best striker of. Up until maybe the likes of the resurgence of Ronaldo, the original Ronaldo, like those guys. I think even players in the 80s never really held a light to Di Stefano in terms of their goal-scoring abilities, so he comes in at 4 for me. And then the big 3 that many people can put any different way. They can put Pele first, and I would probably not argue with them that much. They could put Maradona first. But for me, Pele, 3 World Cups, and they were near enough in consecutive years, so 58, 62 back-to-back, and then they had the missed opportunity in 1966. And in 1970...
But Brazil was loaded.
Yes,
Brazil was loaded. And then Pele's, he's got tons of goals, playing in the Brazilian league and then playing in the United States. If Maradona would have played his whole career in Argentina, he would have 10,000 goals. Maradona won with Napoli, a team that had nothing. He gave them titles. Maradona won with Argentina in 1986 with nobody. Should have won it in 1990 if Caniggia plays the final. Argentina wins that World Cup. And he would have won it in 94 if they don't kick him out for taking ripped fuel for ephedra. People think it was for something else. No, he got kicked out of the World Cup because of ephedra. Maradona, hands down, carries a team. So I would definitely put, as a playmaker, Maradona is the greatest soccer player of all time. It's not even close.
No way. It's not even close.
Not even close. Yes, Lionel Messi is the greatest club soccer player of all time. Wearing Barcelona's jersey, he's done amazing things. He is the greatest club soccer player of all time. I would like to see Messi get transferred over to Napoli or to a small team and see what he can do there. I would definitely like to see that. He's always done it with Barcelona. He's been great with Argentina also. But for me to be legendary, you have to step up in the biggest games. And in the World Cup final, he didn't step up. And in the Copa America final, he didn't step up. The other Copa America tournament didn't step up. I love you, Lionel Messi. You're the greatest club soccer player of all time. Pero ponete la camiseta argentina y en una final, ponete el equipo en el hombro. Put the whole team on your back, baby. And then I will move you to beat number one ahead of Diego Armando Maradona.
1986. And we're in 2015 now, Pablo. Players are so much more athletic. The game has changed so much. You cannot affect the game as much as you could one man. And Messi has done it in several occasions for Barcelona in one-on-one goals. But it's an 11-man game. At that point, I'm not saying that Maradona, and you're saying Maradona did it on his back, which is true. But at that point, it's a lot easier to do that in that era than it is now. Players have changed. Players are quicker, stronger, faster. There's no way you can influence a whole tournament on your own. Messi.
In 1986, they would kick Maradona every single second. Fouls wouldn't be called. Here, they get close and they're already pulling out yellow cards. That's why Messi in La Liga, he can dribble by 6 guys and shoot. In the Copa America, he didn't dribble by 1 guy because the Chile players were right on him. It's totally different. In La Liga, he's got space. When Maradona used to play in Italy, man, those Italian defenses were just as tough as anything that they have now. And they used to hit harder.
You mentioned that Maradona era in Napoli. He won 2 Serie A titles. Yes, that's good.
With a team that never won anything.
That's good. But this Barcelona team has been the best team we've ever seen. And it's all because of this one player. They built around him.
Yes, he's the greatest club soccer player of all time.
But you're still saying that Napoli is one of the reasons why he's the best player because of what he did with Napoli. But I'm talking about in a World Cup standpoint. What about the teams that were around him playing against Argentina at that point in 1986? Did they have a Germany team that are a well-oiled machine that no matter how good you could be, that Germany team...
Yes, we were up 2-0. Germany tied them 2-2, and then we came back and still won 3-2.
This Germany team that you play in a World Cup nowadays is like, you can be Maradona.
You have Beckenbauer on your list. He was on that Germany team.
I know, but I'm just talking about this Germany team. No matter how good you can be individually, there's no way. Messi took. Let's not forget, they took him to extra time. You're 1 player away from Messi winning a World Cup, and this argument goes away.
Correct. And I will move Messi to number 1 all-time ahead of Maradona when he does it. He hasn't done it, baby.
Because if I'm basing it just
I'm just kidding. Sour grapes. I'm Argentinian. I love Maradona. I love Lionel Messi, but I'm still heartbroken.
It's maybe true, but the graphic for me, the one that we threw up there, is what summarizes for me. That's why he's number 1, because before Messi was born into this world, there was guys, Di Stefano, there was guys back 40, 50 years ago that still held their record. Why is this one player so good that he can break every record throughout generations and just be his name? Messi.
Because he's been playing with Barcelona since he was 17. He didn't change leagues like Cristiano Ronaldo did. If Ronaldo would have been with Real Madrid since he was 17, the little race for goals would be a bit different also. Messi's been with Barcelona since he was 12, taking human growth hormone. And then at 17, he was already scoring goals, and he's been with the same club forever.
And they've built everything around him. I don't think that's an accurate argument to claim. Like, so would you claim that Kobe Bryant's not one of the best basketball players ever because he's stuck with the Lakers?
You're saying that he's the greatest ever because he's on the list of the most goals. He's been on the same team forever. So, of course, he's going to pass all the Barcelona players. But again, he's the greatest player. He's just a little bit below Maradona. Just a little bit.
But just because the team, like you're on the same team, you're still adding goals in. Like you're still scoring goals in the highest level.
But I like it. Last time I was on your show, like the first couple of times, you were arguing that Cristiano Ronaldo was almost as good as Messi, and then you were saying
I said that Cristiano Ronaldo got a lot of heat because he couldn't do what Messi technically could do with Argentina. When Cristiano Ronaldo's team is god-awful compared to a very well-stacked Argentina team.
Now you have Messi way ahead.
Well, I have Messi up there because I knew he was always going to be the best player. But Ronaldo, don't get me wrong, he's transcended the game. I don't know, he might be higher up in my list depending on how his career goes.
What's amazing about Messi's 28 years old.
Yeah, 28, and you never know. I will never say that Messi's not the greatest ever if he doesn't win a World Cup. I still think he's the greatest player ever.
It's not win it. I want to see you
get to a final,
all on the line. Take some shots at least in the final.
There were several games in this World Cup when Argentina were very poor, and Lionel Messi pulled them out the bag with a spectacular goal.
And then came the final, and then you see him walking around in the Copa America final, walking around more than ever, not taking shots. A minute to go in the Copa America final, one-on-one with a Chilean defender. He opens it up to Lavezzi. In La Liga, he dribbles by the guy and takes the shot. That's my problem. It's like, just pass it off. No, in the final, put it all on your back. Take the team home. We haven't won since 1983. I had hair in 1993. Messi, I wanted one title and I haven't seen it.
Maybe if he manages to get an opportunity and he'll score with his hand, maybe they'll make himself up there to be one of the best players ever.
Or dribble by 6 English players
He's done
30
it
minutes
before.
later, score the greatest goal of all time.
The greatest goal of all time is up there. It's one of the most phenomenal, but Messi's done it now 3 separate occasions and defied.
Messi has now gone 1,100 minutes without scoring with the Argentina national team. That is unacceptable. Unacceptable. That's 10 games without scoring a goal that's not a penalty kick.
That's a standard argument that I heard on ESPN. Oh my God, Lionel Messi did not score one of their 6 goals. Who gives a fuck?
I understand he passed it. He played great that game.
But his fingerprints are on every single goal.
Not in the Copa America final.
That Chile team, it came out from the back. You just can't do it in this day and era. I'm afraid the players are far too athletic, far too strong. The game's far too different. If someone goes out to shut you down,
you can't be the greatest player of all time and go 11 games without scoring a goal that's not a PK. Can't happen. Can't happen.
All right. Well, we can have this discussion all night. We could probably go on for it all. Jason, you look like you're intrigued over on the end there. Who would you put in just your number 1? Don't say Balotelli.
It's not Balotelli. I can't say Maradona for the reason I never watched Maradona. So if this is completely subjective off my knowledge of what I've seen, it is Messi. The argument that I was going to say about Maradona is that the handball is known, very widely known, as being a no call. Yeah. And anything controversial like that, I don't think you need to win a World Cup to be considered the greatest ever. Yeah. Because when he's going to go down potentially with who knows how many Champions League trophies, and he's already has an insane amount as it is.
Pele's considered the greatest ever because he's won 3 World Cups. So people put weight on World Cups. If Zinedine Zidane doesn't win a World Cup, he's nowhere near your list. And sadly, but it's true. It's true.
Right.
We got to put some weight on it.
The only other argument that I was going to make was, like, yes, Messi's played on Barcelona his whole career, but he's still going to go down with Ronaldo with 100 total Champions League goals by the time he retires. Yeah. Which is
it's just the way I'm talking. I've got my biased opinion of being in a relevant football world that has changed so much. I just don't agree that football in 1986 was as physical as much as you might have been saying he's been kicked around. Like, Messi is at a disadvantage because of his height. So was Maradona, don't get me wrong. But Messi
3 inches shorter than Messi.
I'm talking about just Maradona was stockier than Lionel Messi. And Lionel Messi nowadays
5'1",
5'3",
5'3". But nowadays you see Lionel Messi now, and he's coming up against defenders that are far superior athletically. I just don't agree that players back then had the same strength, muscle, endurance that we have now. It's the same when I talk about Jason with basketball. He's talking about how players in the past maybe would not be able to perform in this era.
But I think in our sport, in football, soccer, we can't actually say that because players aren't much bigger. They're still the same size, same height, relatively. It's not like NBA. You go back 30 years, NBA players, the tallest one's like 6'5", except for Will Chamberlain.
Was there ever a back 4 as tall and strong as Germany in this year's World Cup before this year?
I don't know.
It's 15 years ago, I guess.
I can only judge on what I've seen as well, but one prime example, what I think just summarizes my argument here, is you said that it's not really changed that much. Well, how come Cristiano Ronaldo was god-awful in terms of how he is now and before he started adapting his physicality of his game? Before Alex Ferguson had him in the gym working on his upper body, working on his body
Messi
as well.
can't curl 10 pounds.
That's what I'm talking. Lionel Messi is a lot stronger than people think he is.
Me and Messi have a lot in common.
I'm talking about Ronaldo as a player that you said if the game hasn't changed that much, then Ronaldo, based on all his tricks, flicks, and flair, if he just got adapted to being a better footballer, could still be.
But you're
fantastic.
saying that Maradona couldn't play nowadays.
No, if Maradona was born nowadays and could adapted to this game, yes, he'd still be phenomenal. I'm just saying that Lionel Messi gone back to that generation, that time, the way he is now, would resonate a lot better than Maradona coming into this generation.
Maradona playing nowadays with La Liga defenders stepping backwards instead of when he played when they shattered his ankle in his first game, it would be a totally different situation. Yeah. If people were defending like this, Maradona would have had a field day with La Liga defenders nowadays.
Like Lionel Messi does have a field day with
exactly.
him. I'm talking about Maradona up against the German defenders that are now in that Germany team that are like your well-oiled machine. He doesn't run through them like that, I'm afraid. No one does.
Maradona does.
It's a hypothetical argument because we can never prove it.
Exactly.
So we're just going to agree to disagree. And we want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. Who is the greatest football players of all time? Rank your top 10. We'll take a look at your list. We'll comment. As always, thank you guys for 2IT Sports.